Hi YouTube, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. We might have a little bit of noise. Doug's working outside and there's a west wind, and so he's been coming in and out he's freezing. I baked a chocolate cake, a milk chocolate cake. I'm gonna put milk, a double layered round one, and then it's going to have milk chocolate frosting with coconut and slivered almonds on it later on. So that's my supper. I don't know what Doug's going to have. No, I'm just kidding. I think. No, I made a really nice hot dish yesterday, so we'll have some of that and then some cake. And I didn't have sugar yesterday, so I feel like I can today. I have to watch myself. I try. It's hard. Not really too hard, though. I went like decades with no sugar. You couldn't make me. I'm talking decades. You couldn't force sugar. Now, when I was a kid, that was a different story, but yeah. Anyway, and I was really careful of what I would put into my kids, too, if I could control that. So, anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna be talking about the dragon being wroth with the woman and devouring her child in a minute here. Just a minute. First off, those are some twisted scriptures. Um just it's metaphorical, but she's clothed with the sun and's got the moon under her feet. Yeah, you know. But anyway. Who's wroth with whom? Maybe that woman's wroth with the dragon, and maybe her child is a dragon, and he's devouring himself. And until they understand that's what they're doing, she's just like, who's wroth with who? But then they finally figure it out, and they're like, wow, men don't know women's biology just because they can look at a book unless it was written by a woman. Then you might have a deeper understanding of it. But I've met gynecologists that are female that don't know as much as they profess to know. So I was just going to ask people, what do you think about the it says some interpretations are the serpent, some interpretations are the dragon. But there's two dragons. There's Satan and the devil. So who are they talking about? You know? Anyway. And what woman and what child? From what I understand, Yaldabaoth needs a companionship. So, you know, anyway. So that's why I need to have some distinctions from people because I'm not going to hail Satan, but I'll hail the oversoul forever. I just won't call the oversoul Satan ever. Because to me, the entity I've known for forever isn't anything else but I've always known. So I can't really just like take a switch and make myself into something else to look good. I just have to be me and go with the flow. There's nothing more I can do about that. So anyway. Yeah, I learned things too. Absolutely I have, you know. I've learned how to keep my temper in times where I know there's something somebody's not seeing, and just let it go and put it in the ether and hope it lands where it needs to land. And that's all I can do, you know. So. It's like I have memories of things I can't prove, but I know they're mine and they don't go away. They're just weird stuff I was born knowing, and yeah, it's become more obvious all the time, which is pretty cool. So anyway, that's why I still won't take Satan as my foe, and if you are his, so are you, off of my Facebook wall, because that's energy that isn't mine. If somebody does harm to me, that's the wrath of God that people are going to have to worry about. That's karma that's due on to others, not my problem. But I'll never go in alignment with that energy, although I know how to use it. I'm not the master of that. I don't want to be the master of that. I have my own gifts. So that's where I'm at with that. Two different people with the same understanding. And it's just like Doug. He, of course, knew a lot more than I did, but when he looked in my eyes, the second he saw me, there was a deep fear. And I knew why. So did he. I wanted to see how long he was going to pretend that he didn't know. And I also was wanted to see that I knew I would have help getting out of that wasn't my energy. How far would he actually go by way of trying to help me or harm me? And I wanted to see exactly the integrity of the leader of the pack. So that's why I won't hail Satan, because my gifts from God are more powerful. Why would I hail um, what other people are governed by and I am not? It's not that I'm trying to put a bit in the mouth of the dragon. I don't need one. If the dragon wants to devour me, my spirit goes on. And I say, bye bye, dragon. So, you know, for myself. And that's not the moral of the story anyway. But yeah. So when these preachers get out there and they're like, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, it was a mutual feeling from what people are going through and have to go through for the creation of life. It's a big, long story that I'm not ignorant or separate from, you know, none of it. Like I tell people, when it's your life, you're fully aware of it. I mean, there's reminders, and they can be good or maybe not so good, depending on what a person has to do to make this world go around the correct way. And teamwork is what it's all about. It is. But I still won't back down on how I feel about our Father, the oversoul, period, for me personally. Other people should make that distinction, but I refuse to because it's not my position. So, no, all due respect. Another time. No, no. I always have respect for people. It depends on if they share the same. And if they don't, I keep away from that type of energy. It's not a good thing. It's a parasitical feeling, It's like, okay. Just like when you're raising your children, when they can do things on their own, you know. It's the same with a narcissist. You know what they're capable of, good or bad. I don't play. I ain't playing with you, ever. And trust and respect is a huge thing to me. Um, if anybody thinks betrayal or um, inauthentic or dishonest is in my nature at all, you've never met anybody like me. So, like I say, even in this relationship, getting married on Independence Day and everything, I guess you could call it my chemical romance, you know? And Doug wasn't ignorant of it. We talk about everything, everything. He's not ignorant of my feelings towards the oversoul over him. He never has been. It's never been something that we don't talk about it. We were talking about today, last week, day before, all the time. I never shut up about it because nobody's parasitical on me and gets away with it. That's why. Because I know myself, as they say. Know yourself. Yes. Thank you. I think I will. Glad you know you too. Glad to know you. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. Anyway, so I saw 007 was playing some music over there today. I thought about listening, but I had my songs I had to share for people that were um, maybe feeling on the same level of things I was. So shared them on in my community Facebook and gave Doug a copy of everything. Give me a thumbs up on like all of them, you know. So so anyway, you can't really put a bit in the mouth of a dragon. What he can make you think you did, but it's still bullshit. You just don't do that. Even if you're a little dragon, you still don't. With the big one, you know, not a good idea. These people that think they're using dark energy and magi power, it's like I feel so sorry for you. I really do. Boy, are you bamboozled, you know. I wonder what Doug's doing. It sounds like he's planing wood. That's what it sounds. And he probably is. He put up these. We've got. He called them salt pillars in the front of our woodshed. We've got these pillars, that big round logs, our own logs off our property, super hardwood, and I helped him put one up, but he put the other one up the other day. So he's like putting the finishing touches on that. So today, anyway, yeah, he's got some deep, dark jokes in there. We both do. It's a fucking riot around here. Should come and join the party sometime. Really, anybody's welcome to come and visit anytime. For real. Like I was writing today a little bit about like Mason Shriners, um, Scottish Rite, whoever they were. My interactions with them was really it was a love-hate relationship, and I hated them. And they ended up hating me too. Must have been really a sour situation for so-called masters or whatever, the grand poobahs, um, to have their minds read and displayed and analyzed from a little kid. That just blew them away. That's what they get. Well, they got a lot more too. I made total ass. Well, I made them look like the asinines that they are. Um, at a very young age. And keep in mind the whole time they did a lot of weird shit to me. They I had a big they call me hyperactive. I'm not. I'm active. Um that keeps my adrenaline up and I love it that way. And people should just leave me alone because that's me. But they tried to tranquilize me and I didn't quite I said no because they asked me if I wanted them or not, but they were doing it anyway. And I found that out when I started running away and I'd feel better. And it's like, oh, Doug knew too. He's like, you heard that voice, didn't you? Run. But you couldn't run, but you did anyway. It's exactly. That's exactly what I see. This is the conversations we have because he saw me in the ether forever. So there's nothing I can prove about it, but when we have these talks, you know, and you can learn a lot by listening to the right people. You can really be lost from the wrong ones. But some people want to be lost, and I'm cool with that. That's like a part of the oversoul energy that needs to kick around for the next ones, that don't quite get it. So I'm cool with that. I don't have any argument. I just don't like lies and stupidity to go along with it. That's the shit I can do without, or the parasitical nature of the whole thing, because I don't ask anybody but God for ever. So whoever is God to you might not be the same God to me, but there's only the ultimate energy creator. And the Word was with him from the beginning. And the Word is written on our hearts, so everything I'm talking about, you're going to feel it whether you quite get it or not, but you'll get it eventually. Yeah, you're going to get it all right. Don't you just hate when I do that? I don't know if I do or not. Cheers. I'll let you know if I ever um, get that feeling uh, like I should be shameful about something. It's probably not going to happen, but you never know. You'll be the first to know. That's really what was on my mind today was judgment calls, and I talk about this before, but you better make judgment calls in your life. You better learn how to judge your surroundings. Might not be your job on a personal basis, but you better learn how to define um, personality traits in people. We are who we surround ourselves with, that type of thing. Maybe, somewhat. It's hard to find like another you or another me or, so, but you have to be selective. That's what I'm trying to express. And I'm never going to go along with thou shalt not judge, thou shalt shut the fuck up, lest I be judged by the same measure. I'm cool with that. Do unto others and all that happy horse shit. You first. I tried it. No, I live it, you know? Anyway, I'm in a odd mood today. Anyway, I guess I'm always a little odd. Space Odyssey. Stupid movie. It was a book too, wasn't it? I don't know. Can't remember. If you could pick one classic book for girls in between the age of 10 and 17, a classic book, what would it be? I'm thinking for sure some Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and the Olympiads, I think. Um, Maybe Dante. Any suggestions? I'm thinking something that the older ones get, and for younger, I'm thinking, well, I know what I enjoyed was Pippi Longstocking at that age. I loved it. I think the little one could relate because when your dad's not really in your life, um, it's cool because her and her friends, which were mostly animals, raised her. She raised herself while her dad was at sea. He was a captain. So I think Captain Longstocking for sure. And she'd see him like once in a while. He gave her a telescope, so and different things. I know she was a trip. If you've never read those books, they're pretty cool. And I think for spooky stuff, I'd go for sure Stephen King and Anne Rice. Oh yeah, the Vampire Lestat. Oh my God, that's some shit. And that's on the spooky. And then semi-spooky, I'd go into Edgar Allan Poe. Um, Maybe some Emily Dickinson for poetry. Um, you know, but any other ideas, I'd sure be welcome to them because I want to give them enough where they can go and get something classic and then whatever they want with some other money, so for the holidays type of thing. So, yeah, subs, friends, if you have any ideas, what did you have a book that maybe a child in your life liked? I had a friend that wrote a book called Gone Fishing, and I sent that to one of my granddaughters. So that was a pretty good little book. I read it to my kids when they were young. And her son did the illustrations, so it was pretty cool. My kids and I, my stepdaughter and my sons and I sat down and we wrote a story about a vegetable garden where like the tomatoes were like killer tomatoes. This was before any movies or anything like that, and we illustrated it, and we had, I think you could guess who the killer tomatoes was and who was what around my house. But anyway, I don't know what we did with it, if one of them took it or I don't know. We just started, we were drawing or coloring, and I started making up this story and had them all draw characters and help with the story. It was fun. Anyway, yeah, They're imaginative little things, you know. Anyway, well, I don't know. I don't know what people think about why you would be afraid to make judgment calls on people when you do anyway and you do it in private. Then get out here and pretend that you're virtuous just because you can send around a meme saying thou shall not judge, and you actually do. And if you don't, you're fighting against it. It's all so stupid and phony. Yeah, I'm not impressed. I mean, if it actually were the way it was worded, and if if I say something the way the scriptures are not, you should actually listen. But these people out here, they're so cowardly. It's like, are you afraid to color with your own crayon, your own color? You know, does everybody have to have the same crayon? You know, I like that big box of colors, enough for everybody to do their own thing and not try to usurp and sponge off of and parasite off of other people because they have their own. And that's the only way you get that strength is by having your own. You pay for sucking off of others. It's like if a teenager still wanted to nurse, it's like, and was forceful about it, it's like I'd have to kill something, you know, for a total analogy of the whole thing, you know. And I really did appreciate Lady Babylon last night because uh, there's an understanding of the things that I actually did go through and um, how it either helps or hurts people. But the hurting part isn't from me, it's what people do to themselves. But they want to blame me for it. And it's like, I'm not buying your shit and you're going to pay for what you take from me. If I give it freely, that's one thing. And that's not like even making a bargain with the devil. That's a barter situation. It's not a deal, it's not a contract. Like if you like air, fine. If I want a roof over my head, good for me. That type of exchange. It's a little warm in here. Doug got freezing and he came in here and he stoked up the stove, and I was baking that cake too. But now with the sun out, I'm sure it's still freezing outside. Let me look up our temperature here before I go. But yeah, it's sunny. If I had my curtains open all the way, it would be way too bright in here. Oops, I actually opened the wrong one. Forget it. I have two different, oh, it doesn't matter. I have two different things for the weather report, and I have a little one that doesn't have it complete anyway, so no big deal. I hope there's a little more understanding for people. I mean, like I say, I really appreciated time that was taken to um, like me, to try and take a little bit of more time to allow my more gentle side to be the teacher instead of my dragonistic um, expressions that I love on this planet. But let's put it this way: I don't love enough to want to be that or emulate that, but if it's brought to the surface by somebody else, that will be used in full force. And that's where I make no apologies and where I just love it. What a art. Not mine. Not my thing. Not quite. Or I was going to say not yet. That's the truth. All right, everybody. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.